hmm Hello, everybody. It is myself and Comics here with another indie interview. Today, my guest will be Editor in Chief Phoebe A. Xavier. How are you today?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing good.
I'm so happy to have you on. I've been waiting for the past few weeks, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait. I still need more stuff, and then I gotta do everything. And then I didn't expect a week before our interview. I didn't expect a link for the 2 volumes, and I actually did not know what it was. And I was like, I hope these are not novels or like 120 pages of like
No.
a comic book, because I don't know if I can read that in in just a week of 2 volumes. And then I found out they were anthologies, and I'm like, I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah, I think it actually is about 100 pages in those two books, but the yeah, it's cut up into short stories.
Yes. Hello, Random Dude Draws. How are you? And so this is the third installment or the third volume called The 13 Moon. Since I was able to be, you know, have it upon me, which I'm very grateful for, would you mind explaining 13th Moon to the audience we have here?
Yeah, sure. 13th Moon is our horror anthology that we release in October. Usually every other year. It's a biennial, I think is the word for that. And so yeah, it always comes down to a number of different creative teams, and we have mixed and matched various artists and writers over the years. And this year we have 6 stories and 60 total pages. And our goal for our Kickstarter is only $1,300, and the book itself is $13. So you can see a pattern going there. Um, 13th Moon itself, as a title, came to me because of that's how many full moons there are each year. On average, we get 13.025 full moons, I think, on average per year. So 13th moon is just like the total number of full moons in a year to me. And yeah, I had a couple of other anthology books already that we've been doing, and I knew that I wanted to dip my toes into horror, and this is what we came up with.
I actually like that origin of the name. It's really cool.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
then this cover girl, the girl on the cover is, or demon on the cover actually, is in one of the stories. And I actually did really like the art style of that story.
Oh yeah, then you will like Volume 3 because Lucy, that's Lucy that we see right there on the in the middle of the screen. Lucy is the daughter of the devil. She in the first story in Volume 1, she breaks out of hell and comes to Earth and joins a metal band. Kind of inadvertently joins a metal band, and so that story ended with them having like their first concert at like a New Jersey metal fest because Bayron Calderon, who actually is the running the Kickstarter, who it's all in his name, and I'm just doing most of the promo work for him. He is the main artist on it. He is the writer. In the first version, I wound up lettering it. I took his letters and relettered them for the most part, which is possibly what's going to happen this time too. But basically, I took his script and just did what they call in comedy punch ups. I took his pages and I was like, well, we can add a joke on that panel. We can add a joke here. So I kind of relettered it based on places where I saw that we can make it a little bit funnier. And so yeah, but Bayron is it's his brainchild. Lucy is his brainchild, and he came to me actually. I didn't realize how young Bayron was. He told me he just turned 26 recently, which means I've been working with him since he was 18, because he did a story for me like 8 years ago. But yes, he or 7 years ago, so maybe 19. But he's incredibly talented. He's the tattoo artist in New Jersey, and that's why the story's set in New Jersey. He's a New Jersey person, which is also where I was born, but I haven't lived there in a number of years. So in any case, his art was just really, really brilliant, and he had an idea actually of like 3 spooky girls was his initial idea. Lucy was going to be one, like she was the demon, and then I think he had like a vampire idea and like a zombie girl or something, and he had the art drawn like these 3 like crazy sexy babes that would have been a good horror story. But then when he came back to me a year or 2 later, he was like, all right, so I got a story about Lucy. And I was like, well, we're doing 13th Moon, so let's put your Lucy story in there. And I think that was 2020, so it was the COVID year, it was lockdown year. So he had off from his tattoo job a lot of times that, we were all in isolation or whatever. And so he did a lot of the work on the first one because of COVID. He was able to get it done quick because of COVID. And this one, though, I think I sat down with him and had lunch with him last year, maybe in like December, that we plotted out this idea to do another Lucy story in volume 3. And he just actually, I think I sent you the cover that we're using. He got that cover done in the last 3 days because I was like, hey, Bayron, we're doing like some serious promotion right now. And like the cover would super help. He's like, all right, I have off on Thursday. Give me a day. So yeah, me and him basically, we ironed out that cover out in the last couple of days. And yeah, it looks really good. I really like Lucy. She's a very, very funny character.
I'm
So
actually
yeah,
surprised he got that done in
I'm
3
looking forward
days.
to.
That's just some talent.
Oh yeah, no, he works quick and he's very talented. Yes, that cover was done from last Thursday until yesterday was how long it took him to get it finished. And actually, the last couple hours of it were me working with him on the layout of where we should put the words and what the words should say. So yeah, actually, the art was done by yesterday, and then we took an extra half a day just to sort out the graphic design.
Nice. Ah, I love Lupe. I like her style, and she, like me, even though you can't see me, we both wear glasses.
Yeah, and I like that. If you saw it in the preview pages of the new Lucy story, there's a callback to a joke from the first story where Lucy is wearing Lupe's glasses, which was something she threatened to like to beat up or harm one of the other members of the band for taking her glasses. Not really taking her glasses,
Yes.
finding them on the floor and just holding on to them. But yes, Lupe is great.
Yes, oh my gosh. There's like a lot of stories on here that I am really hyped that we're going back to. There is a few stories that I liked in like the best in volume 1, and then volume 2 we had more different stories, and I'm like, "Oh gosh, I like these. I like a lot of these ones too." And then for the preview number 3, some stories are coming back, like the Lucy story, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're continuing, let's go.
Yeah, there it's okay. Also, the other thing about 13th Moon is the continuity that holds it all together. Is we have a narrator of sorts that introduces and outros the book, and that is Mirror the Time Bender, who is a character from some of my short stories in uh, my fiction that I write, which is not comic books but narrative fiction, and so Mirror is this interdimensional crazy raccoon creature, but instead of regular, like my tattoo around my eye is actually an homage to raccoons and owls, different creatures of the nights that have a circular or a pattern around their eyes. And yeah, whoop. And but Mirror, his tattoo is like, I mean, his eyes, instead of having the regular circles that raccoons have, he has like an 8-pointed star around his face. And yeah, so he has a little bit of a unique look for a raccoon. He also like behaves more like a human as far as like standing on his hind legs and using his hands. But well, they have thumbs. Raccoons have thumbs. But
True.
yeah, so he's just this mystical creature that travels through time and space. And he, for the purposes of our book, he's the one that's like, hey, I came from all different points in time and space to tell you these weird stories. And so yeah, it's kind of really his book. He's the only person that's gonna reappear every single volume. But it is fun to recontinue some of the stories when we have the chance to. But it's also an anthology, so there's no pressure from year to year to have any continuity. It's really just a fun book. Every year I kind of reach out to my friends and other comic creators. I'm like, does anybody have any good horror stories? And so far, my people have mostly come through.
Yes, I read a few of the stories from volume 1 and volume 2 a couple times, and when I was doing the thumbnail, I was like, "Wait, what do I call Phoebe?" I'm like, "Oh wait, so let me do some research on Phoebe." So I ended up finding the other Kickstarters you did and seeing how you described yourself and also the work you have done, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're multi-talented. You even wrote like a draft for the Batman Killing Joke animated movie. I was like, oh my gosh, you did that too. Like whether the draft was used or not, I don't know, but like just writing one is an amazing feat. And then you've done script writing, screenwriting, and I'm like, oh my gosh, should I just say multi-talented goddess Phoebe? Like, and then I'm like, wait a minute, she
Ah,
also wrote the story. One story that I did like, the one about the pregnant mother in space. That's the one I believe you wrote. Yes? Yes,
escape pod,
and yeah, that's the one I
escape
really
pod.
really enjoyed. It
Thank
was so
you.
sad
That's
too. I was like
ano-
trying not to cry. And so I was like,
that was one.
writer.
I actually wrote it for. Why, thank you. That was a story that I wrote for another anthology. I pitched it to another anthology, and because it got rejected by that anthology, I was like, well, then I'm putting it in my own book. And but yeah, one of the other podcasts that I appear on when I'm doing my promo, my friend Don was like, "Holy shit, Phoebe, you really punched me in the gut with the ending on that escape pod story." It's like I thought it was like all uplifting in this direction, and you swung it in that direction. So, and that's kind of like the approach that I like to take with storytelling. Is I like to have a good twist ending. I like to the two things I like to start with when I'm writing a story is a title that I really like and an ending that I really like. And then I just have to fill out the details in between, is kind of how I look at it. But yeah, I'm really glad that you like that one. It is a quick 4 pages, but like there's a lot of emotional weight in those 4 pages.
That's crazy. It didn't even feel like 4 pages to me. I felt like I read a whole novel, and I'm just like, oh my
Wow,
gosh. Oh, let me read the comments real
that's great.
quick. Hello, everybody
Sure.
who's just coming in. Dead Guy Reese, Kate, welcome. We got a comment from her. Hey, everyone. This looks pretty good. I love the cover. Ooh, it's a horror comic and an anthology. Sign me the heck up. Well, we do have the link pinned in the chat and also in the description if you guys want to check it out. I'm guessing this is going to be released in somewhat October-ish? Question mark.
Yep. Yeah, October 1st we go live, but please hit the button to get notifications about it. Um, just it doesn't cost anybody anything to get the notifications, and it definitely helps the project. So it's hard to get into that category of projects that Kickstarter likes or whatever, but you know we're pushing to try to get that. To get some sort to get into their algorithm to get it working for us. We're not really trying to raise that much money even. It's mostly about paying Bayron because he's done all the work up front and we want to make sure that he gets a good page rate. But yeah, go ahead and click that link and click that for notifications, please. And thank you for the
Yep.
support.
And Dead Guy says, pregnant mother in space is giving me creepy alien Romulus vibes. He's been watching that movie a lot lately.
That's the new Alien movie, right? Is that the new
Yes.
one?
Ye-
So I've seen it pop up on a couple of the websites that I use to watch stuff on, and I only have the camera version available to me so far. So I'm waiting for the high definition version before I watch that. But I am a huge fan of those books or those movies, and I would say no, Escape Pod is not really the same tone as that, but it's more of a moral dilemma kind of story. But if you like the alien stories, the alien, like Ridley Scott stories or whatever, then Dark Fever, or yeah, is it Dark Fever? Dark Fever in the new Volume 3 actually is right up your alley then, because it's kind of in the vein of that type of sci-fi horror. Or Fever Dreams. I'm sorry, I'm saying the wrong title. Fever Dreams is a story in Volume 3 that is a good I would just say in the same genre niche as the Aliens movies. So you might like that.
Yes. And then we have Random Dude Draws that says, it got guitars in it because it's metal. I believe they are in a metal band, yeah?
Absolutely. Yep, that's absolutely. They're a metal band, and at the very end of their story in Volume 1, they were playing their first gig, and now in this story in Volume 3, Lucy and the Doombringers are about to go on their first tour. So it's about them getting out of somewhere in New Jersey, which is where we say that they're from, to go on tour regionally.
Nice. Oh, just in case people don't understand, this is a volume 3, meaning there's going to be catch-up tiers. So some stuff we're discussing is from the first 2 volumes. I believe for the third volume, the stories that are in there are still like not 100% going to be there, or they might be cutting some stuff or adding some more stuff. It says like, it's not 100%, so we're still waiting for that before the launch. Da 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 da. I am interested in a lot of stories that were in there. My favorite one is Brunch.
Oh, Branch is deliciously evil. Yes, that is written by my friend Joseph Cervellin. He is he's from New York, but he lives in Los Angeles. He's a writer out in Los Angeles, and so he knows the whole Los Angeles lifestyle and scene. So he wrote this effed up story about a woman who's at brunch, and then there's this creepy guy that starts following her, and like the rest of LA doesn't really care. Like she's in danger, but they're like, whatever, lady. um, and which is something I've definitely experienced in some major American cities. The that cold, callous, like we don't care about everyone else because we're too busy with ourselves kind of attitude, um, which it's a little inhumane, but it's definitely a real feeling you will experience in big cities sometimes. And so yeah, Joseph had the basic idea for the story, and as an editor, he's actually my editor on my short story collection and on a lot of my comic books. He's a really talented writer and an editor. But me being his editor this time, we kind of storyboard, or not storyboarded, but like brainstormed and bounced ideas off of each other for a couple weeks until he got to the final script, and I really like what he came up with. So yeah, that is a 5-page story. My friend Ben DeMaio did the art on that one. It's a really unique art style. Ben also did a story for us in my book Gunmetal Black Ops. He did a story for actually with Jeffrey Haas. Jeffrey Haas, who has a story in both Volume 2 and Volume 3 of the 13th Moon. He also has a couple stories in Gunmetal Black Ops. And yeah, he did a story with Ben DeMaio in Gunmetal Black Ops #4, which came out really good. Ben just has a really, really distinct kind of artistic style that looks like almost nothing else that's out there. And so, yeah, um, Joseph's writing and Ben's art came together perfectly, and I really loved Brunch too. I do think that it's one of the definitely a keeper from this collection.
Yes. Where am I? Ah, there we go. Excuse me. Dead Guy says, Phoebe, do you have any examples of any. Sorry, do you have any examples of any book. Oh, sorry, of any in book artwork yet? My gosh, I can't read.
Oh, Yeah, no worries. So I might have sent you some of that. I know you have the title to show people. Um, I did have a bunch of samples that I sent to um, certain people that I already had their email. I don't think I've ever really talked to you, Bianca, before yesterday. So I don't know if I sent you any good samples. But if you want to give me a quick minute, I can email you some if you want to put them up.
For these
Here,
samples,
I'm
I
pulling you up.
believe you sent me. I know you sent me the preview.
Okay, yeah, you can show them pages from that if you want.
Yes.
I don't know
Woohoo!
if that's easy to pull up. Yeah,
Yes, I actually have it right now.
cool, cool.
Do do do. Okay, where am I? This is where I want to go. Woohoo! Look at her! Look at her in all her glory. I love her so much.
Yes, Lucy is the bomb.
Yes. And right about this PDF, this is a promotional preview of the upcoming 13th volume 3 anthology. It is not the complete work. Some edits are still occurring. Not all pages are complete. Some pages are at low resolution. If you're reviewing this book and have any questions, this is Phoebe's Gmail. Thanks. And then, of course, we got Somewhere in New Jersey. This is the Lucy story that we have. And we got Lupe! Look at Lupe! And then she's wearing her glasses. That's why her eyes. I love Lupe. Then this is where we have Lucy, who is the girl on the cover, and she has a story in the first volume, and this is continuing for the third volume. So it's continuing from the first one. Hoo-hoo. Oh my gosh, there's teeth on here. I didn't notice that my first time reading.
Yeah,
And of course, and
teeth in
guitar.
her guitar.
Yes, I loved this one. I was like, I'm out. I'm done for today.
I think that Steve is one of the other characters in the band. Yeah,
Yes.
and then
The guy.
and then that last panel is the little demon guy that they adopted at the end of the first story.
Yes. I was like, oh my gosh, he's a pet now. So cute. Then I love this little
He
Lupe
is.
picture at the bottom. And then that one was also pretty short. This one was Trouble versus Cthulhu. This is where we go into a more anime manga style, which I thought it was just the cover, and then I
Mhm.
went into the interior pages, and I'm like, oh no, it's in that style. Nice.
Oh yeah. hmm
I
that artist
definitely
is
like
Schwenshin
that.
Bunag. He
Ooh.
is a full-time hentai artist. Like he makes his money day to day by doing hentai, and I'm very lucky to work with him on comic books. We've been working on a number of stories over the years, including Trouble. If you want to read Trouble number one, go to indieplanet.com/123go, and you can download it for free. And you can learn a little bit more about her. Her name is Tamika Kennedy. She is of African and Native American descent, and she lives in the 25th century, the 2400s, and she is a superhero on the moon. She is definitely one of my favorite characters to write.
That actually makes a lot of sense that she's on the moon. I'm like, she's like the fox, right? Or and now that I know that this is like her second part of the story, I'm glad to know that because I was, despite this being the second part of the story, like continuing from the first one, you can still read this without any problem. Like I didn't have that much questions. I was like, yeah, we're just going in. But glad to know that
Oh,
because
she is.
yes.
Well, that's a self-standing story. In her actual book, we ended issue one without finishing issue two just yet. So, but then I wanted to put this story in this book, and it's self-standing. But if you go and read her individual book, then you will be like, hey, wait, what happens in issue two? And it doesn't continue in this story. This is a self-standing story.
Oh, nice. So she's like visiting. That's so nice. You can make money as an
Mm-hmm.
hentai artist. How much for a naked Goku? Listen, you can make a lot of money as a hentai artist, or any if you're drawing anything like not safe for work, 18 plus, naked, whatever, you will get a lot of money. You will.
Oh yeah, yeah. He makes good money. He also lives in Indonesia, where like when
Ooh.
I pay him like $100, it's like $1,000 there or something like that. Yeah,
Oh
our
wow.
American money goes a long way there. Yeah.
Nice. He's getting that money. And I'm actually not surprised that he's an hentai
Mhm.
artist. After reading this, I was like, you have experience, definitely.
Well, yeah. Well, that's. I mean, I never said make Trouble have huge boobs and a super slamming body, but he was just like, all right, I got it.
And
That was not my
whoops.
idea. That was his idea.
Dead guy says, "Well, I'm in the wrong field apparently." Of course you are. Like, duh. Not gonna lie, because there was tentacles here, I thought we were going to go some sort of route, and I'm like, wait, I already know where it's gonna go. And I'm like, oh no, it's just a battle. Okay.
Cthulhu.
And they even
It's
made the
Cthulhu. Yeah.
reference. Like, please tell
Yes,
me that
yes.
hentai cosplay gone wrong. No. I was laughing so hard.
Thank
And the
you, because
fact
this
that,
is another comedy. We have two. We have two comedies in this one, and this is a comedy.
yay, I did it. I do like the comedy ones too. And then she has the high
Thank you.
heels that actually look very nice. I love her pink design so much. And then this is such a good shot. I love it. And then you have a tampon Joe.
Yeah, very gory, but
And then I love the hacker girl too. She's very nice. I love her eye.
yeah. She's she also like she's very she makes a couple jokes about like, hey, you're not my stepmom and this and that. They're just friends, but she's like, it's cool that you want to look out for me or whatever, but like, you're my friend, you're not my mom.
And another one, she's like, "You're not my boss. Stop telling me what to do, okay?"
Yeah, yeah. She's a feisty, independent young lady.
Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, not my stepmom. And then we have Cthulhu in his face.
Yeah.
And this was really really cool because I believe I know the hacker girl works in tech, obviously IT, and I was wondering
Mhm.
if the main character also works in IT as well, or does she just have these blades, or is she part computer?
Okay, so she's actually retired. She is a former Soul Corps Marine, which means she used to like this is in a dystopian kind of future where a single organization runs the entire solar system. And she used to be a soldier. And as a soldier, she got these nanotech implants on her arms that allow her to like form weird things out of them. Um, Usually she concentrates them as a single talon from each arm, so it's like one big claw out of each arm, and she's actually retired. And in her main book, in Trouble Number One, if you go ahead and check that out, you'll see that she's basically retired to the moon, where they have a dome that's supposed to be like a vacation place. And the theme of her book is that yeah, she's trying to avoid any kind of trouble, but like trouble keeps finding her. And since she both has an ex-boyfriend in the city that's a cop, and she's friends with this young hacker lady, just whenever trouble pops up, she's gonna have to be the one to deal with it because everyone else is usually not able to. And to me, that was she's kind of inspired by Spider-Man for me. The Spider-Man books I used to read as a kid. That like that's
Ooh.
what Spider-Man was to me back in the 80s. That Spider-Man was like, I'm just trying to date Mary Jane, take care of Aunt May or whatever, and go to college. And then he'd have to fight some dude in a rhino costume or in a lizard that turned into a lizard or whatever. And he was really just trying to do other stuff. And that's kind of what inspires her to me. Is that yeah, she just wants to work on her tan and go sip on drinks at a bar, but what keeps coming up is all this crap that she has to deal with. So that's I think there's even a line in there about a reluctant hero's job is never done, and that's the archetype that she really is. She's a reluctant hero.
Yes, I remember reading that. Ah. Oh, this is actually a very good shot. It's out of the panels and it's on here. She looks so cool. And then over here we go to black and
Thank
white
you.
in Osaka, Japan. This was one of my
Hmm.
favorites. I really liked this one a lot. I do like black and white too.
Yeah, that is Frederick B. Roseman is an artist that I work with. He lives in Mississippi in the United States. Um, and he has a couple of characters that feature in our Gunmetal Black Ops book. He has it's actually a lesbian couple named Jade Lion and Black Cauldron, who are deadly ass assassins. And so he's written a couple of those stories, or actually I wrote those stories, but he created the characters. And so yeah, he just had this incredible art that I was like, oh, those are cool characters. And he let me write about them, which was really, really cool. So I've written 2 stories for those characters in Gunmetal Black Ops. And but this year when I put out like my feelers about, hey, who has horror story ideas, Frederick was like, well, Phoebe, I did this Fukushu story like 8 years ago. He wrote it and drew it, but his art had improved so much when he started redrawing it. He was like, all right, I'm going to redraw all 11 pages. So this is kind of like him rebooting his own story. And yeah, I really like the story. And when he showed me the art, I was like, yeah, absolutely, Frederick, you got it. You're in the book. You're in this year's volume.
I do like
And yeah,
revenge
Fukushu is a
stories.
super cool story. Versus Yakuza. That's the basic theme of the story.
And this one made me laugh for some
And it's
reason.
black
I could be a sociopath. Oh gosh.
and it's black and white plus like you're cool. It's black and white plus like the blood accents, so all the red blood that splatters over the black and white.
Yes. Very manga, very Junji Ito. Since he's a
I don't know who
known
that is, but I'm
manga
sure
artist in Japan. Yeah. I'm
I,
sorry,
I
what was
bet you
that?
Frederick knows who that is.
Oh yes, yes, yes. So
I
he
bet
is a
Frederick knows who that
well-known
is.
horror manga artist who does black and white and has done mostly horror, everything horror. His stuff has sometimes become an anime,
Awesome.
one with color, one without color. A lot of it messes me up, to be honest. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
No
And
worries.
this is
I
so
like that story a lot too. Yeah.
good. Mhm. Boop, 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 boop. And then this one was so good. I love the
Yeah.
black, white, and
Yeah.
red.
This is very cool visually.
Uh,
Also, that's the first time I published any. This will be the first time I publish anything from Frederick that he's written. So that's a lot of fun too.
nice. Congrats, Frederick. Speaking to you from the void. You can't hear me. And then this is one of the stories that I enjoyed that is continuing in the anthology because of the religious themes
Mhm.
in it. Even though I'm pretty sure it would be weird for me as a Christian to like this story, I don't know. But it was very somewhat reminiscent of thinking about like how it's somewhat similar to Jesus, but with a different turn. And you also have other like giants as well. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we're adding giants to the mix. Let's go.
Okay, so the Book of Enoch is a real like lost gospel they call it or whatever. It was one of the books that in the year 382, when the Council of Nicaea decided that the 5 gospels that we still have today were the only official ones. The Book of Enoch actually existed back then as a story about these giants that were the children of angels and humans. That when angels and humans crossbred, they created giants, and they're kind of mentioned in the Bible anyway, but they've mostly been edited out because the Book of Enoch is not considered a canonical gospel or whatever. But yeah, there is actually a thing called the Book of Enoch that tells the story of these giants, and so we kind of told our own version of one of these stories. Um, and the avenging angel Moloch, who is the a minor character in the first one, and or one of the characters in the first one and a minor character in this one. He's also the star of another book that we put out, Moloch Reigning Devil, and so this is just more world building for that character, kind of. Um, and Jeff and I have Jeffrey Haas is the author on this one, and Jeff and I have kind of, while we're doing Moloch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think is the total books we'll do with Moloch. While we're doing those books, we're also adding these extra we call the apocryphal stories, so that when we finish the main book, we can put out a graphic novel that is the 6 issues and also like all these side stories that we have. So we kind of have a long-term vision for the character of Moloch, and this character Anak, that's that little boy with that with the halberd there, that he is this he is one of the Nephilim, and that his father was an angel, his mother was a human woman, and he's just like kind of because of what happened to his mom and dad in the first story, he's just mad at the fucking sorry about my language, mad at the humans, and kind of goes after them in this story. Yeah.
Do not worry, cursing
And
is
that guy that
allowed.
all right, cool. I curse like a trucker. So yeah, that giant behind him is a Cyclops who kind of tells us he adopted him when the mother presented the baby in the first story. He was like, "Yeah, I'll raise your kid. That's cool." But he's the Cyclops that like knows that the humans have mostly wiped out his kind, and because of that, he's like, "Well, now I have this very dangerous child that I can raise, because even though as a Cyclops he's powerful, he's not nearly as powerful as somebody who's half angel." So, which we see in this book, in this story, yeah.
Yes. That was so sad. I was like, "Oh, you mother crappers!" And now I will be looking for the Book of Enoch because I definitely want to learn a lot
Yeah, no,
more. Woof.
that's a real thing. The Book of Enoch, yeah.
Do I have that in my own Bible? I don't even know. I have to check.
No, I mean, that's not in the Bible, but it's something that they decided in Rome in the year 382 AD, that this is not one of the official books. We only want Mark, Matthew, John, Luke, or whatever, not Enoch.
Yes. So I will be looking into that. I love the colors here. I love the lightning and how it looks. It's so nice. And then he just like, let me just look into your mind. And then you feel the pain
Yes,
of what happened from what he's seeing. And it's like so sad. I'm like, oh, I hate people too. But that's because I work in retail. And I just
yes.
naturally like people. And the blood and gore here is also very good. Oh, it's so nice. Definitely one of my favorites. Oh,
That
I love
artist,
that.
the art, the artist on that story is JMA Juan Manuel Almiron. He is the main artist on the regular Moloch books as well.
Ooh, nice.
Hmm.
I never realized some of these helmets looked different.
Hmm. But yeah, those are the actual angels, and angels come down to confront him, and he's powerful enough to defeat angels. So like that's how powerful this half breed angel human is.
Yes. Usually they have like a little finish in the corner, and I was like, "Where's the finish?" Because I thought it was continuing, and then there's a
Oh,
new story.
well, the words are the last 2 pages of that don't have letters yet, so I have to add the letters still.
Nice. And then for this one, it's like a
That's the
military
one that I
play.
was telling. Yeah, that's the one I was telling your friend. This is more akin to the Alien series.
Oh yeah, I actually thought I was like, wait, which one was this one? And then I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. This one is definitely more alien. You have these like, I believe they're
Mhm.
like aliens infecting humans too. It's that kind of thing.
Yes. Yep.
Yes,
Yes, exactly.
cool. I remembered. Thank goodness. I really
Mhm.
liked this one. If there were people here, all the adoring ladies would have already come running to see us. Stab, stab, stab. And then slime, goo,
Yes.
acid. This was such a good one, too.
Thank you.
Self destruct, yes or no? All of the above. And such a great ending, too. And then this is the last one
Thank you.
called Brunch, which is my
And
best
this is
personal
brunch.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yes! The art style. Oh, it's my personal favorite. And then you have this woman
Yep.
like just throwing an alcohol bottle at a person with a knife, which everybody would be like, yeah, that's totally valid. Protect yourself. But the problem is, nobody can see them except for her. And this
Mhm.
happened a
That
few
doesn't
drinks
mean he's not
ago at
real.
brunch. Exactly. I also really
Hmm.
like her dress. I love the patterns.
Yeah, I really like what Ben did with the dresses. It's almost like cut and paste from a paisley pattern just onto their bodies, but it looks so good.
Yes. It's so freaky how he's like right there and almost looks like a very cute alien, but with very creepy vibes because of the mask. And
Yeah.
then it sucks because she immediately sees him and nobody can. And he's like right there pointing at her. Who has drinks at brunch? That's crazy. I do also like the colored lettering where we have her friend who is like a teal color, while the main character here it has the blue color,
Hmm.
and then
That
they
was me
start
as a
talking.
letterer. That's how I decided to
Yes, I love you for that. Thank you so much.
go. Thank you.
We enjoy
Thank you.
lettering work here because they are definitely underappreciated.
Thank you.
And it sucks because they're talking about, hey, so there's this guy who's looking at me, and she's like, I didn't see anybody, and she's like, oh, it could be that killer going around, and then makes a joke like, what does he look like? Well, no one's seen him and lived, haha. And I'm like, and she's like, why would you say that? I'm freaking out. And she's like, oh, sorry, but we should be safe. Dude even got
Hmm.
graffiti. So, and he just
Yeah.
starts like attacking her
Uh,
anytime she walks anywhere, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
yeah. No, that's a great story.
And he
And
freaking
he,
bites
it's
her.
it's kind of lost in the artwork, but if you look closely, the guy's teeth are actually zippers. That's an aspect of the character, the stalker character that we created. Like, yeah, that he both unzips his mask, but then underneath his teeth are zippers.
Okay, I actually did notice that. I just thought he had messed up teeth.
Nope. He, um, I, I, for, I forget what it was that we were talking about in the design phase, but I sent Joseph a billboard picture of Zipperheads, which was a famous record place in Philadelphia and New Hope, Pennsylvania, that I used to go to as a kid. And I was like, "What about if we incorporate something like this?" And he was like, "All right," and that's what he did with it.
Nice. Is there something about weird about his eyes too? Like those binocular looking stuff, his actual
Yeah.
eyes? Oh my
Well,
gosh.
when she knocks off his when she knocks off his goggle, you just see that his eyes have been cut out or whatever underneath. Like, yeah, he doesn't actually have eyes.
My goodness. This reminds me of the Invisible Man reboot remake movie from a few years ago that I watched with Dead Guy, where it's just a suit instead of an actual Invisible Man. Like they did more sciency on that part. Still scared the heck
Ah,
out of me because I'm not good with horror. And glad to know this homeless man just had random honey nearby because that's antibacterial. Only for it to just not go well and then she's just brutalized, unfortunately. I wanted to know, did he hang her on the
yeah.
wall? My goodness.
He was actually like he was holding her up and smacking her head into the parking meter.
Yes. The brutal part. Oh my gosh. And
Yeah,
then they're like, "Whoa, did you see that lady? Huh? We're almost there. We just have to make a left. Bottomless mimosas, baby." And I'm like, "Dang, you're just gonna ignore
exactly,
that?" And it's like it does happen in
exactly.
life,
Yeah,
and that sucks.
yeah. So it's a really, really cold, callous collection of people around her while she's being stalked by that creepy, weird zipper face guy.
And that was like my personal
So
like
there,
favorite favorite. Where am I? Oh, there I am.
yeah. So that was an artwork. That's an artwork preview for you. The guy who asked for artwork preview, we got you.
Yes. And I hoped you guys actually enjoyed that preview because we actually don't get a lot of comic previews for pre-launches. So this is my first time looking at something like that, and I thank you uh, for doing that, and the
Yeah, no
audience thanks
worries.
you as well because we got to see what was in the
Thank you.
stories, art styles, editing, lettering, and storylines on there.
Cool. Yeah, no, happy to incentivize everybody to maybe sign up for the project, maybe order the project. The pages that we didn't see are the next 14 pages of Lucy and the Doombringers, and also the Mirror the Time Bender, his intro and outro page. So there's still at least 16 pages that you didn't get to preview, but you got a good sample of, we have talented teams that did some really good storytelling this time around.
Yes, I did love the raccoon. When I was first reading the first volume for the first time, so much firsts, I'm just scrolling and I'm like, okay, we got credits and all that stuff, and then out of nowhere, a raccoon pops up, and I just start laughing out of nowhere because I'm scrolling so fast, and I didn't expect to have a cosmic raccoon narrating to me, and I'm like, what the heck? This just made my day. I love raccoons as long as they don't hurt me.
Well, they had they're pretty innocent. They might steal your trash, but that's about it.
Please steal my trash, raccoons, please. I had a former store manager who had like two raccoons. I believe one was named Willow and the other one was Batman. And the dogs got along with the raccoons. And the raccoons just apparently love water. They just kept sticking their hands into the dog's water bowl and just staring at it. And I'm like, that's so cute.
Hmm. Raccoons are very, very intelligent, and yeah, they're very much a pack animal. Um, Raccoons, and they do like raid food. They will raid trash, but they're also they work with a lookout. Like they have a very organized way of stealing from people, and the one dude will be looking out while the other five steal the stuff. And then when they all get food and bring it back to where they're going to eat, they reward the lookout guy first. They're like, we know that that's the most important job. Here's your cut. So they're very much a community-minded type of creature. Raccoons are very, very cool.
Aw, that's so cute. All right, guys, make sure you're hitting the
Yeah.
notify me on launch. I did. I'm just not signed in because my payment didn't go through for a Kickstarter. You guys are not seeing that. Oh, I'm so excited. I Depending on
Awesome.
how good I'm paid in the next few weeks, I may get all three. If not, I'm just getting the third volume. First two just to get any time. Oh, that's right.
Well,
Indie Planet. You so on the description, we have the website Indie Planet, which is like a lot of stories from the not only the anthology, which will for the third volume, if you can't be able to uh, get it now, even with like the time frame or whatever, it should be on Indie Planet like way after that. But there are other
mhm.
previous stories as well, including the oh my gosh, that the manga looking one with the hentai artist with the Trouble in Cthulhu, where
Trouble
they
number
have her
one.
first issue.
Yeah,
Yes, Trouble number one. Oh, so
you could
close.
get that. You could download. You could download Trouble number one PDF for free right now. You could go there and that's for free right now.
Yes. Oh, so I wanted to ask. So the first two Kickstarters were under you, but this one is under Bayron. So what was the reason for the change?
Yes. Honestly, as a trans woman, I have found that Kickstarter is not trans friendly. That
Frickers.
I notified them months in advance. Yeah, that I notified them weeks in advance that I was like, hey, I want to do another Kickstarter with you. I've had this issue in the past where you dead name me and you put my legal name, which I've never changed and I might never change because of personal reasons that aren't anybody's business. And that the Kickstarter was like, whatever, we have to put your legal name up there, blah 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 blah. I was like, all right, well then I'm not using Kickstarter anymore, except for instances where I'm working with a team that someone else is willing to do it. So yeah, fuck you Kickstarter, for not being trans friendly.
I will say that too. Fuck you, Kickstarter. Blah. That is completely disrespectful, especially
Thank you.
as since I've been kickstartering, I guess you can call it an audience for Kickstarter for many many years now. Like when you even create a name or whatever, like it doesn't have to be a legal name, so it shouldn't have to be the way that way with creators at all. So that
Well, for
absolutely makes no
well
sense.
for for them for them, the story that they gave me is that once they verify my bank info, that it's their obligation to tell the Kickstarter supporters what my actual name is on my bank account. So
Makes no
I don't see
sense.
why it's really it does not. It really does not. It's just a tone deaf kind of place in their customer service where they've been like, well, f you trans people.
Have you decided like on different platforms? I know people are doing Indiegogo. I know people are doing Zoop. Uh, Zoop is going off right now. Uh, Especially since
I
apparently
never
they
heard of
re
Zoop.
really the Zoop. Yeah, Zoop is technically a new one. Me and Dead Guy, who is my co-host sometimes, we interviewed somebody, a writer and artist from Zoop for the very first time, and what Zoop does is apparently if you need help for like resources, like actually making the books and shipping them out to people, they will actually help you with that and are creator friendly from what I've seen. And I was like, I've never heard of that. That's kind of
That's cool.
nice to be honest. And apparently it's not that big of a
I'm gonna
cut.
I'm gonna look that up as soon as I'm done tonight. As soon as I'm done talking to you, I've never heard of Zoop.
Yes, yes. And Zoop of course is ZOOP.
That's what I
I
thought. That's what I
love
assumed.
I love that, but of course, this situation just sucks for you in general, and of course for a lot of trans people. This is turd balls, as I would call it, because I usually am not a person who curses unless I'm very angry.
Yeah,
Oh my
but
gosh,
no,
you're stoned right
it's
now.
just like there's there's just really no reason that they need to put my legal name on blast. And they're like, oh, but we have to because of our customers. And so I don't think there's any Kickstarter supporter who's out there that's like, I will support this project, but only if I know the legal name on their bank account. Like, that's ridiculous.
I am actually kind of confused about that too, because there's actually a lot of trans creators, uh, that, or some that became that ended up like transitioning and changing their name later, where that was never an issue for them. And I'm like, are you just picking and choosing people, or you just a lot of you are a holes about this stuff? Like that's terrible.
There's That's definitely possible too. I know that Twitter had, as far as like content moderation, that I lost a number of Twitter accounts for saying things like using insults like bimbo as a slur, and they were just like, nope, you lose your account because you called Chris Hayes a bimbo. I'm like, that's really not that offensive. Like he's a dumb blonde guy. How is he not a bimbo? Like, um, and so like I was like, that's not even like that's factual. So I do think that like on certain websites, once you have a certain person like overseeing your output and being the judge of whether you're violating TOS or not, I do think there are definitely instances of prejudice that occur. I don't know that that's what happened to me, but in any case, that is why Bayron is the person who has his bank information attached to it. Also, he has the main story. He has the cover story. He's the main artist. So it is, and he's the last person that needs to get paid. Everyone else that was involved in this project has already made their money. So I told Bayron, as we were getting closer to crunch time, I was like, hey man, you're doing awesome. I love putting this book out. And it's going to go out as, a digital PDF for free if it doesn't get any money, but let's get you paid. Let's do a Kickstarter. And I was like, all we need you to do is this, that, and the third. And he was like, all right, it sounds like no. He was basically just like, all right, you're going to do all the promo. You're going to go on the podcast. I don't have to do that. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. I'm the more outgoing person in that sense. He was like, all right, cool. Then I'll do it. So it's going to work out for both of us.
Yay! Hopefully someday, if Bayron is ever comfortable, we can have you two on together for next time. Because we do have artists here, and like as you see from me, I sometimes choose not to put on my camera if I'm just not feeling it today.
That's cool. That's cool.
Okay, guys.
It's
So
totally
we're
cool.
going.
I did my makeup. I put on cool clothes. I'm rocking my Mike Side Dyke Side T-shirt. I don't know if you could see that, but yeah, I like being outgoing. Mike Side Dyke Side is a subculture in the band Fish's fandom. I don't know if you know anything about Fish, but this is a queer collective within the fandom of Fish. It's a website community that I'm involved with. Yeah, I like appearing on podcasts. I don't go out a lot, and this being out on the internet is a good way for me to express myself.
Awesome.
And I'll try to get. I will try to get Bayron to come on your show sometime as an artist, but he is a bit of a shy guy. Not gonna lie.
I am luckily me and my co-hosts are pretty introverted. Having an anxiety attack before we go live is something of a ritual for us.
I understand. I totally get that.
Awesome. So thank you guys for stopping by. We're going to end the interview here. Please click on the notify me on launch if you want to follow Phoebe or Bayron. Oh my gosh, I'm messing up now. Bayron on any of their social media accounts. I did. Bayron on any of their social media accounts. That is also in the description, which I'm very glad we have both of you guys for that. And we also have the Indie Planet if you want to check out some of their stuff or any free downloads that they have available. Thank you guys and have a nice night. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me.